Welcome to Bannerlord Mechanics, a series where we dive deep into how stuff works but keep the videos short. Today's topic is recruiting nobles to your kingdom through Persuasion and Barter. We'll start by looking at why some clans might not be recruitable in your game and what you can do about it. Then we'll cover the main recruitment steps in order, first Persuasion, then Barter, and finally I'll share an exploit that I found during research for this video. Let's get started. The only prerequisite for recruitment is having enough money to pay the Barter price a few times over. If you get this dialogue, then you don't have enough money. The talk about relations here is just fancy, they really only care about money. Here you can see the required money as a function of Barter price. If the price is over 2 million, you can't recruit them before you lower the price somehow. Most clans you should be able to recruit within this limit, but there are exceptions as well. For example, Yorick here doesn't want to join my Batanyan kingdom. In your game, the clans that cost over 2 million will be different based on choices you've made for your kingdom and how the wars are going in Calradia. But more on that when we get to the Barter phase. If you want to maximize the amount of clans you can recruit, you should be walking around with almost 6 million in your pockets. The Persuasion is split into 4 parts, with each one having their own theme and a difficulty rating based on various things about you, the noble you are trying to recruit, and their liege. There are a ton of different dialogue options here, so it's impossible to cover all of them, but I can show a few that I find interesting. The first part is called the Trust Persuasion, and it is the simplest of the bunch. It only looks at the personal relation between you and the noble you are trying to recruit. The best possible dialogue is unlocked at +20 unmodified relation and looks like this. After this step, your relation does nothing for your persuasion percentages, so anything above +20 is wasted. Note that the exact percentages you see will not be the same since they depend on your charm skill and difficulty setting, but each possible dialogue has its own difficulty rating that is independent of your skill. When you are at -10 or worse relations, you get the worst possible dialogue options that look like this. The second part is the Oath Persuasion. It is all about the personal honor of the noble and their liege. This part can be fairly easy if the liege is neither honorable nor merciful, like for example Garios, who is both dishonorable and cruel. However, if the noble is honorable, the options can be quite bad, as shown here. The third part is the Loyalty Persuasion, and it is supposed to be about the noble's relation with their liege. But there is a bug here. If you have -10 relations or worse with the noble, you'll get this dialogue with very favorable percentages. In the third part you can also sometimes see this rare option with a chance for critical success. This one shows up when the noble is merciful, their liege is cruel, and you are at least not cruel. This is a good example of the more complicated options built into these dialogues. The fourth and last part is called the self-interest check, and it compares the sizes of the two kingdoms. However, it seems that changing the kingdom size only changes the flavor text and not the actual percentages. If the noble has high valor, you can dare them with this option for a critical success. After you successfully fill all the persuasion pips, the next step is the Barter phase. The complete formula for the price you have to pay is extremely complicated and well beyond the scope of this video, but I can do some generalizations that should give you a rough idea of how it works. The price consists of 2 parts: how much the lord wants to join your kingdom, and conversely, how much he doesn't want to leave his current one. Both of these sides look at things like lord's relations with the clans in the kingdom, total wealth of the settlements the kingdom controls, the amount of settlements per clan, does the kingdom's culture match the noble's culture, and the cultural value of nobles' fiefs to each kingdom. We can illustrate this last point with a small experiment. I started a new Aserai culture kingdom far in the south at Parihal Castle. I also added nearby city of Askar to my kingdom. This city will be gifted away, but we will get it right back as a part of noble recruitment. The city has the same culture as our kingdom, and it is close to us, so its cultural value should be high for us. Next, I'll go north to Sturgia and find a landless noble to be our test subject. Before I do anything else to him, the price we must pay for his recruitment is almost 330,000. Next, I'll give the city of Askar to him and see how the price changes. Now that he owns the city, we must pay 340,000. So we are paying just 10,000 to get our city back. That's a pretty good price for a city worth over 1 million. The price is so low because the city is good culture fit for us and a poor one for Sturgia. So to recap, nobles like kingdoms where they have lots of friends that are rich in fiefs relative to the amount of vassals and provide a good culture fit for them. In my tests, the willingness to leave component was generally greater than anything I could do to my own kingdom, so if you want to lower the price, it should be more effective to sabotage their kingdom rather than to improve your own. However, it is possible to build your kingdom such that no one wants to join anymore, such as creating lots of new clans with little to no land to their name. If you're going for world conquest and want to maximize the culture bonus, you should consider making Empire your kingdom culture, since there are more Empire culture clans and fiefs. If you are not at war with the kingdom, there is also a third part, which is how much you have to compensate for the fiefs that they are forced to leave behind in their old kingdom. So make sure you do your persuasion during wartime if they control any fiefs. It will be cheaper as well. Now that we know how the recruitment should work, it's time for a bonus exploit. This technique will trivialize the persuasion step, giving you near 100% success rate. I think this might be new one in patch 1.7, so let's enjoy it while we can. Or if you don't like exploits, you don't have to use it, but that's your choice. Normally, after you attempt the persuasion, you are not allowed to try again unless you wait for a full year. However, due to a developer oversight in how the game stores your past persuasions, if you save and load, then the game will let you try again immediately. The game is even nice enough to remember your progress from your last attempt, and it lets you try all the 4 parts of the persuasion again, effectively giving you more time to get the required pips. If you have good percentages in the first persuasion step, you can even repeat just that one as many times as you like. The only thing you need to watch out for are critical fails, since they can put your persuasion progress below 0, in which case you are not allowed to continue even after save loading. Since using this exploit requires only save and load and not saves coming, it will work in Iron Man mode saves as well. That's all for this time. The information in this video is up to date as of patch 1.7.0. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.